Hello and welcome back to America Then and Now. Hope you're enjoying a few of the videos I've been making. I'm going to be doing this growing up Southern videos also. It's going to be part of America Then and Now. And today, for some reason, I was thinking way back to a dog I had. Now, growing up in the South, we hunted, we fished, and having hunting dogs was just part of life. You know, you don't have to understand hunting to appreciate this story, but it helps, because I'm going to tell you a story of something really extraordinary. Rarely in our lives do we get to be a part of something extraordinary. It just doesn't happen with any regularity, so it's special when it does happen. When I was about 14 or 15, I think maybe in December of my 14th year here on Earth, I got a little beagle puppy, and because I rabbit hunted all the time, and rabbit hunting lets you have, you know, a little pack of dogs and your friends, and y'all got to, you know, everybody got together, and it was always a good time. Rabbit hunting is a very social sport, and running beagles, you know, competition, or just going out and listening to the dogs and just telling stories while you listen to the dogs. All that was a big part of me growing up. And but I got this little beagle. I named him Rebel. And nothing. The first couple of months, you know, all you're doing is just raising and feeding the little beagle. And as he got a little bit older, I started training him a little bit. I had some rabbit fur, and I was dragging it around, let him chase it into bushes and chase it down a hole. And I was trying to teach him little things. And he was a fast learner. He was not he grew up not being a big beagle. He grew up being a 14-inch beagle. But when he was about 4.5, pushing 5 months old, we were always out taking walks and things like this. And he started and ran his first rabbit, which is really early in beagle development, or any kind of hound development. But they're starting to grow. And I popped that rabbit. I had a 22 with me, and I popped that rabbit, and that was our first run. And over the period of a few months, you know, the dog never stopped. He's relentless. If he was out of the pen, he was relentless pursuer of a rabbit. And he got good fast. He could find rabbits really fast. And by the time his first hunting season came around, people already knew about this dog. You know, some of my family wanted to buy that dog. And, you know, a few $100s at that time was a lot of money to a little kid, but I never would sell my hunting dog. And he astounded everybody for his age. At that time, that first year, just an amazing dog, you know, out there hunting with seasoned veterans, and this dog shined like a diamond. And as we got a little older, as he was a couple years old or whatever, everybody knew the stories. He could find, no matter how inclement the weather, no matter how rough the terrain, no matter how thick the foliage or whatever, if he went in there and there was a rabbit, it was coming out. he was what we call a strike dog, and he could find anything. If it had hair, if it's a rabbit, he's going to find it. And he was the best of the best. Even at a couple years old, I'd never, in all the beagles I'd raised, all the beagles I'd hunted with, I never saw anything that approached his level. And it gets a little older, and the stories keep on coming, and the things that we saw him do were uncanny. I'd seen him dive off into water. I remember one time hunting, and we shot a rabbit, and it tried to run across a big old creek, and the rabbit never came out of the creek, but Rebel went into the creek, and Rebel brought out that rabbit, dove underwater, and brought the rabbit out. Wow. I've never, ever seen that since. And he'd done it several times. We had, where I come from, we have these big, giant swamp rabbits. They're like, 4 to 6 pound cottontails, but they're known for making really, really long races, going through extraordinary means to hide, from the hunters, hide from the dogs. And one of the things they like to do, and this is usually where a race would stop, is they would run out into the water, and they would sit down in the water with their nose sticking up. Lots of people have never seen that. Lots of people may not even know that they do that. Rebel knew. And if a race went out toward the water, went in the water, guess what? We had Rebel. He knew the tricks. And I remember one time we watched him run out on the end of a log, and he started baying, and we couldn't figure out what was going on yet. Next thing you know, Rebel's in the water, and he's out making a circle. He's out making a circle in the water, getting closer and closer and closer. And eventually, the rabbit got so scared it had to jump out of the water, and the race started again. Seen him do that on many occasions. Usually this is where a race would stop, but you just couldn't get past what this dog knew naturally. He was a hunting dog. He had no other excuse on earth other than being a hunting dog. But he was a great pet, friendly, sweet, but his mind was always on hunting. If he was out with me, he was busy. And extraordinary stamina, be hunting all day, and at the end of the day, he was so hurting so bad from running that you just had to pick him up with little kit gloves, and put him in the dog box. He'd give 150% all day. You can't ask for any more. Snow, he loved the snow, or some dogs would be out in the snow. It's so cold, I don't want to go out, And here he is like a little puppy. He's out sliding in the snow and running his back up against the snow, and just enjoying being a hunting dog. Lots of extraordinary things. I remember one time standing with my friends, and we're listening to the race, but here comes, I can see Rebel coming. He's not with the other dogs. There's something going on. And he's running, not full sprint, but he's running, and right within maybe 5 yards of us, he dips his head down and comes up with a rabbit in his mouth, lickety-split that fast, and we're all standing there like, didn't know he was there. Rebel knew. So the legend of Rebel grew. He was a big hound in a small body. He loved fighting possums and raccoons, You know, when we were, especially when we were young boys, we enjoyed every minute we could. You know, and all that was just excitement. That was extra gravy if we brought home a raccoon or something like that. But he was a secretariat of his breed at that time. There just wasn't. I'd never, ever seen anything like him, and he was mine. And he lived pretty long. He died during, I guess, my first year of being married, so I was 25, 26. He was almost 13 years old when he died. And I quit hunting him after he was about 10 years old. I decided I just didn't want to push his little body. You know, I didn't want to lose him in the field. We'd hunt him every once in a while. But to the day he died, on his own, I never pinned him up after he got old. We lived in the country, and just let him do his thing. Let him be a beagle. If he was tired, he'd lay on the porch. If he wasn't tired, he's out running through the bushes and getting a chase going. That's the way we all should go. We should never wait on death. We should make death wait on us. But anyhow, a cool story of something really special, and there's no worthy description other than what I told you. You just got to imagine every time you were out with Rebel, you got to see, usually you got to often see something extraordinary, something that the breed does not describe what this dog was capable of. So anyhow, I hope you have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We'll see you later. So bye-bye.